Hello, everyone. It's Sammy, and first, apologies for not doing an update for such an incredibly long time. I actually tried to record a little video, I think 2 or 3 other times. I don't know, they just didn't, it didn't, none of them felt right. I don't know, it was all weird. And then I just kept being like, okay, well, I'll record a video tomorrow, and then, I'll go back to posting videos of Sam and pictures and, the daily updates, and then it never happened. So, first off, yes, that. Secondly, I feel like I should address this just real quick. I showered and washed my hair last night and went to bed, so. um, it's funny because my sister, I saw my sister for the first time since January. The beginning, I think it was either January, I think it was 1st and 2nd that I saw her, but I saw her this past week, and she said something to me. My hair wasn't quite this intense, but she was like, "You have Brett hair," which is our brother. And for those of you who know Brett, then I totally did have Brett hair, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. This is what's happening, like it's crazy. I'm just slowly turning into my brother." Although his would like do like a curly swoop back thing that mine isn't doing. Mine does like some weird, but anyway, that's not what this video is about anyway. But one day I will, I'm sure the next day I have Brett hair, I'll snap a picture. So those of you who do know Brett will be like, holy crap, she does have Brett hair. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, I told you. So anyway, everything's been going great. So much has happened. 95% good. I think it was at the end of April. I think it was after my birthday was the last update I did. So it's definitely been, I think like a month. So of course, like a lot has happened. So quickly we'll run through some of the stuff. The only like bad stuff is like we pulled Sam off of a medication, and he just he's very sensitive to medications. Is what we've found out during this whole process. So sensitive to them, sensitive coming off of them. Like when he comes off, he pretty much is going to have any sort of withdrawal symptom that is possible, even if we go super slow or whatever. But the good thing is that he, he powers through, and we talk like every day when we're pulling him off medication of, is it too much? Like, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Like, how is it? He always wants to just keep powering through and get off as much as he can. So that's always our goal. But in this last one, it kept him up one night, all night. It kept him up, and then like he was having trouble sleeping. So that's kind of where I'm a little more, okay, I know you want to keep doing this, but so if the lack of sleep had continued, or the rough nights had continued longer, then we would have just started the medication back up, because sleep is super important. I've talked about that before. So but luckily everything worked out. He evened out, and so now we are down to just 4 medications. I think that's down from 12, I think, when we discharged Shepard, if I'm remembering correctly. But we were down to 4, 2 of which are seizure medications. We can't really do too much with those for a while. Like you want to wait a long enough period without them having a seizure before, you start messing with that. And then, 2 small other ones that I know will be coming off. Like they were never considered like a forever, or even a possibility of a forever medication. So those will come off over time. They just take a little bit longer to come off of. So, so that's awesome. So huge. I'm so pumped about that. 4 medications, y'all. Yay! Again, nothing. Sam and I talk about this too, especially like when he was coming off the last one, and it was really rough. It was an antidepressant, and I was like, I kept telling him, I'm like, listen, like, if you need it, you need it. It's not bad. I know that we're not really huge into medication and everything, but our thing was always that balance. Be as natural as possible as you can, but then sometimes, like, meds have to come in for a reason. Like they're there for a reason. So there's a lot of stigma, especially around like mental health medications and stuff like that. And then some just in general, people are just not into medications and stuff. So I was like, don't feel ashamed, don't feel bad. Like, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work. If your body needs it, your body needs it. Like, that's just the way it is. And the goal is for you to be happy and healthy. Hopefully we can do that without medication. But if you have to be on some medication, like, you got to be on some medication. Like, things get weird. The brain injuries change chemicals and craziness and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, so we're very excited about that. We've had doctor's appointments. Still meeting with through like telehealth meetings, the doctor from Pathways, which is awesome. That wasn't supposed to happen. This is actually one of those times where like the COVID thing is working out in our favor, because we weren't supposed to continue to have like a visit with her every 2 weeks, but we were, and that's awesome. And that's also been able to allow us to pull him off a couple other medications. So we were supposed to go to Atlanta on May 19th for a physical visit with his doctor, but the Pathways clinic wasn't open, and things like that. I think they're opening June 1st, I believe. But Sam didn't need it. Like, there's a couple things that she needs to see him in person for. One, like, he needs some blood drawn for lab work, and then 2, Botox in his foot. We're not sure if he needs another round or not. So our next telehealth visit with her is on the 5th. 4th? I don't know. It's at the end of this week. Whatever. So it's coming up this week, and I'll probably actually just like put the camera in front of his foot and be like, see, I don't think that it needs that. I think it's loosening up. I think it did its duty. I do want him Dr. Fadia, to check out his left thumb. It's getting really tight. He had Botox done on that in 2019 before we left the Shepherd Center, and it helped a lot. And then it lasted, 6 months, over 6 months now. So, so I don't know if that's one that maybe we could do one more round of, and then maybe get a splint or something made. I don't know. I just want her to kind of check that out. But all in all, Sam's doing great, physically, mentally, all of that, from the doctor standpoint. We had our first meeting with, again, a telehealth meeting with his primary care, and set up to do his lab work through her versus Dr. Fadia, because we can go to their office, and they're actually just going to send someone out to the car and get the blood drawn directly from the car when we go. That's this week too. So big news on those. Yeah, it just keeps getting worse. It's ridiculous because I keep doing this, but whatever. It's just fluffy. Poofy. So yeah, so like doctor wise, then that's what's happened. And then therapy, Sam's just rocking out. We're working on, we're still working on jogging, which I think I told you guys about that at some point. We're working on jumping now, which is awesome. I just tried that one. I don't know, I was just like, let's try jumping and see how that goes, because sometimes I like to just throw things in and see what happens, So he's doing great there. We still go for our walks. Cognitively, I just feel like every day he's more present. And there are some days that, I tell him, like, he had a really good hand day a couple weeks ago, and then like the next day after that, like, it's like it was a bad hand day, like you can't be all things all the time, right? So, when something's going really well, then we push that, and we still work on the other things, of course, but if he's having a really good cognition day, then we do extra cognition, because why not, and he's very good at letting me know when he's fatigued on stuff like that, or just in general over it, just doesn't want to do it. That's fine. So he's good about that. So I don't mind pushing a little bit harder when we're having those good days. We still do the exercises every day, but if he's having a good hand day, then we might do some extra hand stuff, kind of get a little bit extra in there when things are going good. One of the things we talk about a lot is that we're creating new muscle memory with Sam, and it's better to have 5 perfect exercises than 50, you know, whatevers, you know, like that are just kind of crappy, you know. So if we can get those 5 really good ones in, even if it takes us a long time, we got to wait a long time between them or whatever, then that's what we want to go for, because, you know, we're retraining all of those muscles and stuff. So, voicing, he's had some really good voicing days, and then some days where it just falls off, you know. It comes back. So it's nothing that I'm like concerned about or anything like that. I was getting excited because he had a couple weeks where voicing just every day was on, you know, and that was great. The past, I'd say 3 or 4 days, then he just says that it's not, the voicing isn't really working. But the other things on speech, the breather, the Mazako's, cognition, eating, all of that kind of stuff, you know, is strong, which is great, because I definitely think, I mean, he's definitely made progress since we've left Pathways, period. He's definitely made progress, but I'm very excited for them to see him again, because I think, you know, it's kind of hard for me to tell because I'm here every day. I think that we have changed so much since we left. It's been 2 months now. I think 2 months and a couple days, but since we left and we've been home, I think that he has made some serious gains. I'm super excited for his therapy team to see him again. On that, we're not entirely sure what's going to happen still, because again, Pathways is still kind of coming up with their reopening plan and how that's going to work out. We might wind up going back for the 2.5 weeks that we missed when we discharged early, or we're scheduled to go for a 3-day evaluation in August. So depending on how the opening with Pathways works, because like I said, the clinic is opening up on the 1st. I don't know when the therapy side of them is opening up. And then just, I mean, that's going to be a huge headache for them. I have no idea how they're going to do it, because besides all the patients that they had, you know, of course, during this time of being closed, then there's all these other people who have been discharged from Shepherd Center and want to go into the outpatient program at Pathways. So I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Hopefully there'll be enough time that we can go back and finish the 2.5 weeks. It might be that they just tell us, you know, wait until the August 3-day evaluation, and hopefully after that evaluation, then, you know, they'll tell us either, okay, go back home and keep working, or come back for another full round of intensive therapy. So I think at this point, and it just being 2 months, then I think that if they saw him today, then they would want him to they would want him back. They would be like, yes, come back for another, you know, 4-6 week, whatever, session. So hopefully, I have like this pipe dream that his voicing will become strong enough that when we go for the orientation or the evaluation in August, that he will be approved for the day program. So that's a pipe dream. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you know, put it out there. Why not, right? So, you know, and Sam's amazing. Besides all the work he's doing in therapy, and again, some huge gains, even stuff like we do shoulder exercises, you know, and we have like these weighted dowels, which I wish I had thought to look to see who gave us these, because someone bought us these, the weight bars, but you know, when we first came home, he couldn't do the exercises by himself. He couldn't even hold on, you know, to the bar himself, and you know, now he's doing it, you know, he's doing them solo. Like, I come in because he's doing the movement, but, you know, getting his arms straight is hard. So I come in to help him, like, really try to get his arms straight and stuff. But, you know, he can sit there and do these exercises, like, with me just being like, okay, or me standing in front of him, and we mirror each other and stuff to work on timing, because he likes to go up really slow and then just crash down. So, you know, I try to get him to slow down on stuff like that. But you know, he's great. Just wonderful, and such a good attitude, just constantly pushing, you know. I push hard some days, and some days I don't, you know, so I check in with him too. I'm like, do you want me to push harder? Do you want, you know, am I pushing too hard? Is this the right amount? You know, so he's really good about giving me feedback and stuff from his side, and you know, he does occasionally, like very occasionally. I mean, it's crazy how rare it is, but occasionally, super rare, then he will get frustrated. Not like during therapy or anything. I can just kind of tell like something, like he's thinking about something. So you know, I'll ask my questions and we'll walk through it till I kind of get like a like where he's at, you know. But he's just frustrated because he wishes his recovery was moving faster, which I do too, and that's what I tell him. Like I do too. You know, we agree on that. Like I wish it was going faster, but he never lets that like affect. Like he's never like he never gives up. He's never like it's not worth it or anything. Like there's never a day where Sam isn't going to, you know, bring it in therapy, which is awesome and inspiring, and it helps me keep, you know, keep pushing on my end too, because you know, like I can't. I mean, there's days where I don't want to do it, you know, and I'm not even doing it, you know, but I don't want to. I don't want to have the therapy set. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, let's just not today, you know. But we do, because I'm like, if he's not, he's in this position. He's the one doing the hard work, you know, and struggling and pushing and making the progress. And if he's not going to have a day where he wants to just not do anything, then I'm not going to do that either. He has been waking up, like I think, you know, he was starting to get back on a more regular sleep schedule, I think, during one of my last updates. I can't remember because, again, it's been so long. But he pretty much gets up, you know, I think like 8:30 is like his sweet spot. I was shooting for 7 for a while, but it just wasn't, he's not into that. Like 8 and 8:30 just seems like more natural, and, you know, and he's just always ready. There are still days where I ask him if he wants to sleep in, and he says yes, and I still kind of, I do let him do that. Not, you know, it hasn't gotten to the point where I've had to stop him, you know, of where it's gone for like a full week or something. Normally it's like a day where he just, you know, will go do therapy for a couple days, you know, 2-3 days, and then maybe on day 3 or 4, then he needs to sleep in a little bit, and then we'll do it again, and this and that. So again, I'm not too worried about it. I keep track of that stuff, and you know, again, like if it gets back to where he's just sleeping all of the time, then, you know, we'll kind of look at that when it arises. It hasn't been a problem yet. So, and he's going to bed between like 8 and 9 normally. Occasionally he'll stay up past 9, but normally between 8 and 9. So our routine is really getting down. Even on the days where he sleeps in, then, you know, we just, you know, it's not really time based on my side. It's more of just like the routine of what we do, you know. So I think that the first like actual routine I wrote like times out and stuff, but now I don't follow that. It's not time thing. It's more of just like, okay, when you get up, this is what we do, and then after we do this, then we do, you know, therapy during this time, lunch, break, therapy, dinner, you know, or break, dinner, depending on what time we finish up and stuff like that. So more of just like a routine of activities versus a timed routine. So I don't know if that's great or wonderful. It's working well for us, which I think is the only important part of it. So you got to figure out what works for you and be able to adjust it around for days where it doesn't work, you know. So so that's all good, and I've actually, you know, with that, then I've been able to get some other stuff done. I painted my hallway. Excited about that. I can't believe I never posted pictures because I was super pumped. But then you know, things just happen. So got the hallway, the ceiling and the walls painted and kind of rearranged there. I've made a ton of progress the past couple weeks on like I call it like the business side of life. You know, the hospital bills, insurance, Social Security, guardianship. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's other stuff. And then just other, you know, that's like the Sam businessy things. But then other things like since we've been home, we've had plumbing problems with our toilet, our bathroom sink, and our kitchen sink. Okay. So the toilet and the kitchen sink I fixed. I was waiting for some parts to come in for the bathroom sink. and they came in this week, but then something else happened, so that's been put on hold. I'm hoping to get to it. I don't know, maybe today or tomorrow. We'll see. It's not high up there on the list because the kitchen sink is working fine now, so we're just using that. But it is one of those things I need to get on. Then the other thing that happened this week, we unfortunately had a dog attack that killed 2 of our chickens, Derp and Joe, and that was it's Derp, so that one was really hard. I'll do a better post, Derp specific, probably just like a picture one or something at some other point. But, she was on our wedding invitations, and, Sam remembered her, and, so that one was rough. So we had that happen this week. And then the next day, then a hawk came and got Soda Flop. I saw it. I couldn't, I ran, but she was gone. She was, snatched up. So hawks, at least, losing one of our flock to a predator is never fun or happy or anything like that. It's a crappy way to go, but when it's something like a hawk or a possum or a raccoon or, something like that, then you at least can tell yourself, like, it's a predator that's trying to survive, and, circle of life, and, whatever. The dog was particularly is harder because they just play. They just play with them. Like, they're not killing them to survive. They're killing them for fun and sport, and that sucks. That's so much worse than, anyway, but whatever. We've been, I've been dealing with that. Sam remembers sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. So anyway, so there's that. It's interesting with this because I can't remember who I said this to, but I think it was my parents. But I was thinking about, and more than thinking about, I was planning on decreasing the flock just for it to be more manageable for me, for cleaning and coop cleaning. Obviously the feed, and you cut the flock in half, then that's half the bills and stuff like that, because I'm trying to get our financial side in order and figure out what the future holds for us there and what we're going to do, which I'll talk about in a second. But so I'd put it out there. I was like, yeah, okay. And I had even picked, like, which birds were going to go. There was 6 from when we hatched out on the farm. We let one of our flock, Hilda, hatch out. She's a great mom. They're the youngest. They're I call them all the Dominiques. There's a couple of them that are discernible, but most of them are, they just look like Dominiques. They're hard to tell apart. They're the youngest, so they still have the most productivity in them, and our rooster Scrimshaw is part of that batch. And Scrimshaw, is a amazing rooster. Has never been aggressive towards humans, which is huge. Number one, has never once in the 3.5 years that he's been alive been aggressive towards humans, which is a amazing track record. And we got these eggs specifically from a friend who had roosters like that we were specifically going for that from his roosters are just like that his line is just awesome, and this line produces non-aggressive rooster, or non-aggressive to humans rooster, but still flock protectors, because I still need that little rooster biz to protect them, because there's fencing. We have like Premier step and post fencing down, but it's not electrified, and and I don't clip my birds' wings because I want them to be able to get away from a predator if they have to. give them all of their, I don't want to, whatever. So sometimes they fly in, not whatever. Anyway, but Scrimshaw is also, he has gone up against hawks. He has gone up against a Great Dane to protect his ladies. So he is non-aggressive to humans, but a proven protector. Really good, doesn't overmate. Like, I mean, he is just like, I don't want to get rid of him, really, but he, I think he needs to go with his siblings, and those are like his favorite ladies, and if someone's taking, like, these hens are a little bit older, they're 3.5 now, I think. So, if they're gonna take some ladies that are a little bit older, then they should get a bonus of an awesome ruse. So I kind of put that, I was thinking about it or whatever, and then I've actually found someone who's going to take it. My friend Lee is going to take them, which is awesome, because I know she'll give them a good home and care for them and love them and everything. So I also didn't want them to go to someone who's just going to kill them, and use them for, like, stock and stuff, because they're good birds, but so I told my parents, I was like, I did kind of put out into the universe that I was looking to, decrease my flock size. Like, this was not how I meant to do it, to lose Derp, Joe, and Soda Flop in 2 days. That's not how I meant it at all. But again, make sure, be careful what you're putting out there. So anyway, enough about chickens. Y'all know me. I could talk all day about those sweet little biz. The bright side. Sorry, I will say the bright side of all of that is during the dog attack, then Monroe was injured during that, but she is well on her way to recovery. So we won't lose her. So that's a bright side. But quickly talking, I mentioned about how I'm trying to cut our bills back and trying to figure out what we're going to do is just, basically just that. Like, we know Sam's Social Security disability case has been closed. He is approved as disabled, and so we know what type of payments we're going to be getting off of that, which is another huge one, because that can take forever, and it really, it was really smooth for us. I think a huge part of that was because we went and filed with through Shepherd. They have a volunteer there that helps people with that, and that's how I did it. And it seems to be like, kind of like, this isn't like official or anything, but it seems to be that the applications that come from Shepherd get pushed through the system a lot faster, and also because, like, there's the medical and therapy staff that deals with this a lot, so they know, their reports are very detailed, and and they're fast at sending them and all that kind of stuff, so they just, they make it happen and clear that stuff up faster, because sometimes you can wait years, and they back pay you, but it's still like, it's, what do you do for the years until they say it, until you get the back payment, so that's nice. It's at least one piece of the puzzle moving forward of the financial side of what are we going to do, and we're all over the board. I don't know if there's a single idea that I haven't thought of, but if you have an idea for us, then go ahead and throw it out there. Everything from packing everything up, putting it in storage, buying a camper, just going around to all the state parks in the country and doing Sam's therapy there, moving to another country. Thought about that. Thought about, staying here if we're gonna continue farming. What type of farming are we going to do? How is that going to look? Am I going to be able to go back to work? If so, how much? And if that's true, then who's going to be caring for Sam after? There's or not after, but while I'm at work. But there's a lot, and then kind of also really trying to focus on what's important for Sam's recovery, because we have these long-term goals that I think we're going to meet. Sam wants to farm again. I think that he will farm again one day. How long it will take us to get there, I don't know. So that makes it hard to plan. So before you can focus on the long-term goals, then you have to know and meet your short-term goals, and like what's best for the situation that we are in right now. And if there's a way to make it possible to grow into these other things that we think might happen down the line, then that's awesome. If not, then we gotta deal with what's in front of us. So everything, all sorts of ideas, and who knows? It's still the good thing is that we have some money coming in right now. Blue Mountain isn't even open dining room wise yet, and even if they were, like, I'm on the last of the list, which is totally fine and how it should be. I mean, there were the people who were working there when it shut down because of COVID, that they will slowly ease back in and things like that. But I mean, who knows what the future holds for any of us, even like when everything starts reopening and everything opens up back even fully, one, how long is that going to take? Two, will it ever be the same? Should it ever be the same? Lots of things to think about on there too. I think I'm sure a lot of you are kind of having a lot of these same thoughts with me now. Different situations, of course, but I mean, it's you don't know, like if I go back to work, like, will I be making the same amount of money that I did before? Like, will we be as busy as we were before? Is my time, is it better for me to spend it trying to make money, or is it better to spend it with Sam and focus on his recovery? Like, is working, how much am I going to be able to work? Will it be enough to pay bills? Is it worth it to, look into other options of other things, the good thing is that, I mean, there's all sorts of goods. One, like I said, like, I don't, there's no time pressure hanging over me right now. Like, we're doing okay. Sam and I had savings, and we're not in a position where I have to make any immediate decisions. So that, number one, is a huge blessing, because you don't want to making decisions like this under pressure is incredibly hard. And then, like, for me, because I've been in those situations where I've had to make decisions fast, and I always wind up thinking later back, and I'm like, was that the best decision, or did I make that decision because I was pressed for time, or pressed for money, or something like that, or emotionally pressed, or whatever. Right now, we're none of those things. Right now, we are good. Where we are is sustainable for a while. I don't know the exact amount of time or anything, but I'm not pressured. There's no pressure. I can take care of some of this other stuff, and then every other thing that I take care of, one medical bill taken care of, okay, then that shows, that tells me more what our financial situation is going to look like in the future. So the more of those things I can take care of, then the more firm the financial side for the future comes. And then, I can start making those. So on that, we are truly blessed, and I'm very excited and happy that, again, I don't have to decide anything right now. So I can just brainstorm and think and talk to people, and, and see what they, I was talking to John and Aaron about this, and they came up with some ideas and some really beautiful offers of support and stuff like that. Same thing, Sam's family actually came on, I think it was last Sunday, and we social distance outside, but it'd been forever since I've given them an update on anything, besides, like, Sam therapy, but, like, the businessy side, and kind of like where our future and stuff was or is or possible. And so they came over and we talked about all this kind of stuff, and I gave them, like, more detailed updates on everything I've been doing, just to keep them informed, because, I mean, they're his family and they love him and they're here, and plus it was nice just to see them and, like, sit around outside and just be near them. Like, that was great and healing. And and Sam, like, I tell him about COVID pretty much every day. I remind him, because I don't want him to think that people aren't here because they don't want to be here. I'm like, they aren't here because it's a safety thing. It's a COVID thing. It's not, has nothing to do with you. Like everyone wants to be here so bad. Like they are just, you know, just waiting and anxious to come and be able to do therapy with you and to see you and to, you know, help and all of that. And, you know, so I want to make sure that he knows that and not, you know, because again, the memory comes and goes about COVID. So sometimes he remembers about it, sometimes he doesn't. So I never want him to think that none of you are, that y'all aren't here because you don't want to see him, you know. That's not the case. You know, I know it too, like we all know it. I'm like, once all of this stuff settles down, whatever that is, I was like, we are going to have like so many people rolling through here, and you're going to be working with so many different people, and everyone is so excited to like see you and work with you and just I mean, even just be with you, just sit on the porch and like chill with you, you know, like just everything, like everyone's so excited. It's like, and it will happen, you know, it will. But it was great. He loved it. He loved seeing his family, like after they left, then, you know, later on towards bedtime, like he was emotional a bit, but it wasn't anything, I mean, I hate to say it wasn't anything bad, because like no emotion stuff is bad, you know, but it was just simply like he misses them, you know, and so, you know, it was this huge rush, a huge high of seeing everyone, of being around them, of feeling like the love, you know, from 6 feet. and then there, you know, everyone was gone and it was just us again. So it went from like, whoa, to really just kind of like, okay, chill and mellow and whatever. And, you know, he was, you know, I asked him, I was like, are you okay? And he said, yes. And I was like, you miss your family? And he said, yes. You know, like he was happy to see them. So we're going to try to do that. I talked with him. I was like, I'm sure we can get it together with them, that we could do this regularly, you know, until everything with COVID settles down. So we figured we're going to try to do it like once a month and get everybody out here and sit around and, you know, I don't know, maybe we'll do picnics or something. Who knows? But that's awesome. And he's very excited about that too. We've also done, that coffee is not hot. It's not cold though either, so. We've also been getting some more like video chats and stuff in. We got one hooked up with Evan. It was great. Sam was pumped about that. I mean, we've been a little bit more regular with Kelsey, although we need to. Kelsey and I were texting last night, and I was like, you know, like it's probably time for another video chat for us to do some updates. You know, I got one in with John and Aaron the other night after Sam went to bed, which was great. And, you know, we're slowly starting to set more of that stuff up. It's working. And then some visits where, you know, a couple people are coming over, like Adrian is coming over. I'm not sure if her daughter Kira will be joining her this time, but she might. But she's going to come over sometime this week. And again, just hang out outside from a distance. We sit around, we chat, and, you know, get a little bit of social time. Sam likes it about an hour, depending. Like sometimes he, you know, again, that's just what we plan for an hour. Sometimes 20 minutes in, then he's, you know, over it. It just depends on the day and the time, and I mean everything from the weather and all. I mean, y'all know it's just like us. Like sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I could visit with this person all day, and then sometimes you're like, okay, I could, you know, that's cool. I'll see you later, you know. So that's all good, and it's exciting to see people, to socialize, stuff like that. Other things, let's see, I busted the BCS out. And shout out to Michael Rayburn Farms. He's my go-to BCS man. I started it up. I was so proud of myself that I remembered how to. Because we hadn't had the tractor, the walk behind. For those of you who don't know, BCS is a two-wheel walk behind tractor. So it's not a big tractor. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we had just gotten it for the farm last year, you know, so I had used it a little bit, you know, and I was getting to the point where I was used to it. Some of you might remember my epic fail of going down the hill when I had the trailer attached to it and jackknifing and being thrown off of it. Some of y'all might remember that. I don't know, maybe not, but so anyway, I wasn't anywhere like, you know, confident or anything like that. Like, I was just getting used to it. So anyway, super proud that I remembered how to, like, I went up there, I was like, you can do this, Sammy. And I was like, don't sit there, because I almost went and just like watched all the videos from BCS again to like prep myself. And I was like, you know what? I was like, have a little faith in yourself. I know you haven't thought about these things in forever, but go out, you know, go to the shed, see if you can start it, and then if you can't, then watch a video, you know, but you might surprise yourself. And I did, and I totally started it up. And then it was blowing out all this white smoke, and it seemed to be dissipating, but I wasn't sure, and I was like, maybe it just needs to run, because we had it stored, the motor was like angled because we didn't have an attachment on it, so the motor was just down, and I was like, maybe some stuff just like, you know, I thought it was the oil. I was like, maybe the oil got somewhere it shouldn't, just needs to burn off or something like that. Anyway, I called Michael and or texted him, and then we chatted on the phone, and I wasn't too far off of it. Definitely, it wasn't the oil. He said that's a different color smoke for the most part. So it could have been just like the old gas in there. It could have been that it was sitting. Maybe some stuff just got like clunked up in the carburetor, you know, whatever. So he gave me some tips on that, and then I actually busted it back out yesterday and changed the oil, pulled out the old gas, replaced that, and then Sam was just super tired yesterday. I mean, we did kind of like push it hard yesterday, but he was just super tired, so he wanted to go to bed at like 6:30. So he went to bed at 6:30, and I actually got the BCS out with the flail mower and was able to almost finish one of our fields. The grass was about here-ish on me, which is fine. Like, the flail mower like will take, it's up to, I think, like 6 feet or something of stuff down. So, you know, I wasn't worried about it, but I was like, all right, I should get on it. And my neighbors are awesome, and they've been helping me with like mowing and weed eating around the house. But I don't know, I was just like, I had the time and I could do it, so I went and did it. So I almost got it done yesterday. I'll have to finish it up over the next couple of days, but that was nice too. And knowing, like, once I got it all up and going, once I started using it, then a lot of it did come back to me. Most likely because the flail mower is the attachment that I use the most. And I won't get into too many details on any of that, but anyway, it was just nice, like, to know that not everything has kind of disappeared. I was talking to somebody about something, and they asked me a question, and I was like, you know what? I was like, normally I would have that answer, just like, boom, you know? I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I feel like I've lost, you know, I feel like this medical and therapy knowledge that I have picked up over the past, 10 months has kind of just shoved some of my other knowledge out. So we'll see, but who knows? Like that, it was still there. It was still in there. It was great. And then, yeah, so that was really nice. And then just me too, like getting a little bit more on a routine of just simple things like, I would almost always get the dishes done before I went to bed, but now, like, it's consistent. I'm always getting, which seems like something silly, but I hand wash the dishes. My dishwasher, just it's not worth it to run it. And so I hand wash to, like, knowing, waking up in the morning and everything's clear and just can start right into whatever I'm doing, or like later on in the day of not having any extra dishes and stuff to do, just that. And then things like, I always set up the coffee now at night. I have kind of, like, after I get Sam to bed, I have kind of my routine that I do afterwards to make everything, like, prepped up for the next day. So it's just becoming more routine and more habit versus having to think about it or plan it, so that just, it's seconds, or just a couple minutes, every day, but eventually it builds up. And then it's also, like I said, it's just things that I don't think about anymore, which is nice. I just do. which is nice because like that was, you know, part of the problem was like, okay, well, some days I'd be a little bit later with dinner, or sometimes this or that, or like what's going on here? Is it a Sam shower night? You know, most of the time if it was a Sam shower night, that's when I want to get the dishes done. But now, you know, I have like, you know, you just adjust. You just adjust. You tweak every day. I just constantly like tweak our routine just a little bit, or keep trying to think of ways to make the next day easier, you know. I tell myself a lot because like I struggled. I went through like well, I've gone through a couple down periods since I've been home, honestly. But during one of them, then I was just like, I should be better at this. You know, like I should just be better. Like I should have this down. I shouldn't be struggling. I shouldn't, you know, feel so overwhelmed by all of this stuff, you know? So then I just had to like, you know, remind myself to have a little self-compassion and say, okay, maybe, you know, maybe you should, but you're not there yet. So instead of beating yourself up about it, think about, you know, just be a little bit better than you were the day before. You know, do just a little bit more, you know, because my goal is normally I get pumped, you know, my, unfortunately my self-worth, the way I think of myself a lot is very tied to my productivity, which sometimes is awesome because it winds up like I can get a lot of stuff done, you know, but sometimes it sucks because if you don't get anything done or things happen, then, and you don't get done what you were supposed to do in that day, then, you know, you feel like crap, you know, so it's we all have those things about ourselves, right? Our personality that we, you know, it's a blessing and a curse type thing. We all have something like that. So mine is like that part of it. But so I'm just like, just be a little bit better than you were the day before. Be a little bit more patient. Be a little bit more, you know, on the ball. Get one little thing done. Don't say you're going to clean the whole office in a day. You know that that's not going to happen anymore. Like previously, yeah, you know, you could, but that's not a realistic goal with my current situation. So say, okay, you're going to clean off one shelf, you know, or you're going to, I was talking to Adrienne about this, and she was saying about, you know, with her girls, you know, their rooms would get crazy and it was just so overwhelming. She's like, okay, just take care of the clothes, you know, just pick one thing, you know. So like the first thing I did in the office, I was like, okay, take out all of the empty boxes. I keep empty boxes for shipping stuff and just, I don't know. I mean, there have to be box hoarders out there, right? Like I just keep them, like what you need them, and I use them, so it's not like whatever. But anyway, so I'm like, just take all the empty boxes out, fix them all together, and then put them in the craft room, you know, and then go from there, you know. So that was one day, was just get all of your packing stuff out of the office and get it all together, you know. So that was one day. And then the next day was, again, it was like okay, clean a shelf off, you know. So adjusting my expectations of myself and my goals for myself to, again, like the current situation, and giving myself a little bit more leeway, you know. Another thing is, I was like, you got to start doing some stuff for you, like some fun stuff. I mean, I do like organizing and things like that, but I like knitting more, you know. So I was like, knit something, like start a project. And I did, and it's great. And I'm like 2/3 of the way done. Actually, I'm over 2/3 of the way done. So that was great. And then, you know, that makes me feel good. And I either do it in the morning, I make time in the morning, or I do it after Sam goes to bed, depending. I have like a light now that I can use in the living room, so I can be in the living room near Sam, but not have the lights on to wake him up, because there's not a door in our bedroom. Which it's not really a long story. We took it off because we're going to install like a barn door, and then we never did because all of this stuff happened. So there's no door there. So I don't want to have all the lights on that I need to see. So now I have like a specific light, so I can sit there and not bother him, and I can have like a little bit of time, you know. And then on that, then I'm like, okay, you know, either a timed amount or a certain amount of rows or whatever. I'm like, just do this, and then you can go do something else, you know. So that's great. Sam's been really he still listens to podcasts. We try to listen to at least one podcast a day, but he's gotten really into audiobooks. We've been using Libby, love Libby. And they had Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on, where you didn't have to wait or anything. I guess it was part of, I don't know what it was, but you didn't have to wait. So we listened to that. He got really into that. Unfortunately, like all of the other ones are like a super long wait, so I have some on hold, but we're waiting on those. But we started the Maze Runner. We're about to finish that one, so he's just really been getting into listening to audiobooks too, which is awesome and great on concentration and things like that. He doesn't, I kind of, I don't want to say I quiz him, but I talk to him about the book. Either after we finish listening or before we start again. I'm like, do you remember the name of the book? Do you remember what it's about? And he always says no, like when I just ask those like kind of open-ended questions. But like then I'm like, okay, well, one of the main characters, is his name Albie or Bobby? And he'll say Albie. Like he has the answers right, like when you give him the choices. So I think just the open-ended part of it is a little bit harder to deal with now. And that's cool too. I think I mentioned this at some point, but it's like that means that the it's being coded in, which is huge, and that's like one step of memory being coded into your brain. And then it'll be the next step as that gets easier and more instinct or whatever, then then it'll be extracting that memory or like having access to it, which is a different part of it. So yeah, so it's anyway, but that's cool, and it's awesome because he likes to listen for like an hour or so that's great. I can put on an audiobook while I make dinner. I kind of like it better, I love TV, but I like it better than TV because I feel like it's not quite, it's not audio and visual. It's just the visual, and this is new stuff. We tend to watch a lot of the same stuff, but and not that we don't watch TV either. There's still times where we'll pop on like Adventure Time or Archer or whatever, on Letterkenny, all those things. So there's still some of those, but then it's cutting back on some of the time. Sometimes if just if I'm making dinner, we're done with therapy for the day. I don't want him to have to. I don't want to put more work in front of him if he doesn't want to do it. Like if he wants to continue working, like I'll let him work as long as he wants, really. But like if he wants a break, then it's just not like I'm just not plunking him down in front of a screen, So that's nice. And it's cool because like I've never read The Maze Runner, and it's a really interesting book, and it's a series too, so that's awesome. Anyway, so that's all cool. We're getting to be long. I'm about to hit an hour, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I'm sure I'm missing all sorts of things. Tons of other stuff has happened here. I do have videos and pictures and stuff to post during this time that I'll post, over the next couple of days. I know there's one of us playing harmonica and Sam brushing his teeth, all that kind of stuff. There's just, it's awesome. Everything's great. I don't want anybody to worry about us. There's, it's not all peaches and cream. Like I said, I have my down periods. They're getting easier to handle, and then they're less now too, because I've kind of like, again, just I think I mentioned it at one point of just like altering the way you're thinking about stuff. And so one of them is like when I started thinking about different things for our future, then of course the first thing was, are we going to have to leave our farm? Are we going to, whether we rent it or sell it or what, like, is that I mean, it is a possibility, so the first time I thought of that possibility, then, I was devastated. Like, I spent 3 years looking for this place, and, we waited to get married until we bought our land because we wanted to get married on our property. Like, that was a huge thing for us. And thinking about not being here was hard. I was like, our dream is gone, like we were going to farm, we had this dream and it's over, and then, but it's not, because like I started thinking more, I was like, that wasn't, being flower farmers wasn't our initial goal, like that wasn't the end goal, our again, I was talking to Adrian about this, and I was like, our end goal, our main goal was to be, and I said it, or I said what I said, and she said what she said at the same time. I said to be self-sustaining. And she was like, to be happy. And then she was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh yeah, no, you're right. Your goal is even like the end goal past what I said. Like our goal was just to be happy. And then I went back on our website and stuff and read things that we had written and talking about our future and everything and what we wanted. And it was we just wanted to be happy. So we are happy. And how do we continue to be happy? And to do that, if we can do it somehow where we're self-sustaining, then that's awesome. And that's another goal to look for. But like it's not like when Sam and I first met, we were like, we're gonna be farmers, yay! Like that's not how it went. Like it was a process and everything. But the main goal was just to be happy. So, our main dream was just to spend time together, as much time together as we possibly could, and to be happy and to be with each other. And that's literally what we're doing now. So, it's helpful to remind yourself of stuff like that. It's not exactly the way we would have expected or hoped for or anything like that, but it's also not the worst case. We're together and we're happy. So that's more than what a lot of people can say, so we should, we're grateful for that. And, and then thinking of things instead of obstacles. I'm sure I saw this somewhere, but instead of looking at things as obstacles, look at it as an opportunity. Okay, yeah, maybe we won't farm here. Maybe we will leave this place. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But maybe we will. Okay, what's the worst about that? What's so horrible about that? Yeah, we leave. We go somewhere else. We're still together. We're still happy. It's not saying that we're never going to farm again. We might not farm here ever again. But, whatever. That's, maybe there's another path for us, too. Maybe there's a way. I have this pipe dream. I mean, the super pipe dream is that somehow we can stay here, continue everything that we planned on doing here, except maybe grow a different crop versus flowers, just because of the whole bee thing. But, still farm here, still live here, still build the house that we were planning on building on our property, still turn this into our little oasis, and somehow do it with me not going back to work, off of or outside of the home, me just doing it. I got skills. So, and things I can do from home. So do that, and then, support us that way, and then go from there. So that's the pipe dream. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. Doesn't mean that there's not other dreams, and that doesn't mean I really feel like there is a path that we are supposed to be on. I don't know exactly what that path is or when we will find it, where it will take us or anything like that. But I think that, I'm trying to be more open to it. It's hard for me because I'm a big planner and I like to have all of my ducks in a row and things ready and all of that. And I like to know, we all do. It's the uncertainty. I've talked about that before. It's just the uncertainty of everything is what gets to us, but especially for those of us who are type A, planners who like to be in control, who like to have their list and their plans and their all of this kind of stuff, it's hard. It's hard not to, but there has to, I don't want to say there has to be a reason for it, because there doesn't really have to be a reason for it, but I can be more open to what the universe is presenting me. I don't want to miss an opportunity. We're in a whole different ballgame with everything. Even when this injury happened, and I mean, from when it happened to now, totally different. too, even from when we were planning, like at Shepherd, both Center and Pathways, then, you know, they talk a lot about you going home because that's their goal, is to get you home and get you back to your life and everything, you know. So even from what we planned there, like how it is now is totally different. Looking into the future, like I'm supposed to be back at work already, you know. I was supposed to be come home for 30 days and train people and everything and then go back to work. That was the original game plan. That didn't happen, obviously, because of the whole COVID thing. And again, like I talked about earlier, we don't know what's going to happen in the future with reopening and COVID and how this is going to change the world, you know. So, you know, I'm just trying to like not be as I'm trying not to be as uptight, honestly. Like, don't be as uptight. Don't worry about it as much. Everything has worked out up until this point. So why do you think? Same thing that I say with Sam. As long as he continues to progress, there's no reason to think he will ever stop. Things have worked out this far. There's no reason to think that they're going to stop working out, you know? So there are energies and gods and powers out there and forces that have been present with us this whole time. It's not like they're going to ditch us. So, you know, keep doing what we're doing, keep focusing on what's important, which is Sam's recovery and being, you know, as happy as we can be every day. And then let some of it go. Like, who cares? You know? I mean, this isn't to say I don't worry about it every single day still. I do. I'm trying not to, or I shouldn't say worry. It actually has, I've noticed a shift of it being, it was worrying, like, every day. Now it's more of just, like, thinking of being, you know, some people would love to be able to pack everything up, buy a camper, and go traveling around. You know, that's their dream, you know, so why, like, don't pish-posh something that is amazing, you know? And, I mean, I've kind of always wanted to do it, too, but I'm also kind of a homebody, so it's like a give and take type of thing. But, you know, but it's just like, be open and see what happens, you know? There are things I'm sure that I haven't thought of. Like I said, I mean, I did say I think I thought of everything, but you never know. There's always other ideas. There's always other opportunities. There's always other ways. And like I said, we don't have any time or financial pressure on us right now. It'll get to that point, but we're good right now. So enjoy now, because, you know, you don't know when you're not going to have it. And when you, like, looking out on everything that's happening in the world, I mean, I won't get into any of that, but, you know, it's been rough, y'all. It's been rough. For all of us, like I'm saying, like, the world has been rough. America specifically has been rough, which is unfortunate, and hard. But, you know, sometimes you go through the really hard stuff to get to the really awesome stuff. Sometimes you go through the really hard stuff to get stuff that's harder. You never know. So why, you know, whatever, let it be, right? What will be, will be. And then, like I said, stop being so uptight, Sammy, you know? Loosen up a little bit. So yes, everything's great. We're definitely over an hour, so I'm going to cut this off. I'm sure that there's like a gazillion million things that I meant to say that I didn't. Sorry. This is why you're not supposed to go a month without doing updates. But there you go. And do look forward to videos of Sam doing therapy and things like that. They are coming. It's awesome. And then don't look forward to the dirt post, but womp womp. Thank you to everyone who is still helping us out. I mean, y'all are so awesome. We still get messages, you know, weekly of people offering help and making sure that we're okay, and do we need anything from the store, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. We've been great so far. You know, we've gone on a couple times. Once I ran out of coffee, and the world doesn't want to see me like without coffee. So that was like the first time I went to the store, which that was a funny experience, but we won't get into that right now. But it's funny when you haven't been around like anything in life for like 2 months and you're kind of like uptight. it always makes for a fun experience for like the general public to be around you. But yeah, so our neighbors are bringing us lettuce, and we have another neighbor up the road who he told us, he's like, this part of our garden we planted for y'all, so, and we didn't know them, they heard about us through somebody else, like when it first happened, and have just been like keeping their eyes out for us like since then. So then, like, one of the times they saw us walking down the road, they made it a point to come out and say hey, we know you, this is our, introduce themselves, and all of that. So gotten some good conversations in. Adrian, John, and Aaron, thank you for listening. And there was one time I called Aaron just freaking out. Thank you for that. It's great. And then Sam's family, of course, Carla, Aubrey, David, Robin, they're always, they're here at a drop of a hat if we need them. So it's wonderful. They're great. Carla keeps making us sourdough bread. It's awesome. Although I think her starter died, but they're restarting. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Because she'll figure it out, and it'll all be great again. So, yeah, everybody. And again, yeah, Michael Rayburn, thanks for the BCS help. I'll send you a text. I don't think that you will watch this. He's busy. He's a farmer, and I don't think that he goes on social media. I don't know. I think he Instagrams for his business, but I don't think like he does. I don't think like personal stuff. But anyway, he's awesome. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody that has been there for us recently. Sorry about that. But you know who you are, and you're awesome. And, yeah, I'm going to go because Sam slept in today. Too late to say that. There is a good thing. Quickly. So I said, like, we're getting more into our routine. Sam's up more during the day, seems to be about 12 hours every day. So we're getting double therapy sessions in, 3 hours before lunch, 3 hours after. So we are now able to, on Saturdays, we do a half day. And then on Sunday, we actually take the day off except for speech. Because he's too behind on speech to not do it. And, like, I want to have a conversation. Sorry, I almost cussed, but I want to have a conversation with him. So I want that speech. I tell him all the time, I'm like, I'm greedy. I want it all the time. I want your voice all the time. All of it. So, but that's really awesome too. And it's giving us a little bit more of, just making everything better. Having downtime is good. And I'm really making, Sam has downtime, but I'm really making myself like, get my downtime in, and not be like, okay, Sam's on downtime, so this means I can spend the next, hour cleaning something. Because, most of the time that is how it is. But, on Sundays, we sleep in, just saying every Sunday we sleep in. Like, that's awesome. So, and last thing, sorry, dang, I can't believe I forgot this. But the last thing, do expect an update sometime soon. We have our Day of Discovery at Apex Brain Center on Tuesday. So he goes in, Sam and I will go in, and he'll do hours of testing on some of their equipment, and then they will put together a therapy plan for what they think they can offer him, if they think they can help him out on some stuff. So I'm super excited about that too. Yay! So anywho, okay, love you guys. For real, getting off this time. Watch for videos of Sam, and I'm sure there's some of Scoops in there too. Scoops is awesome. She's annoying me. She always wants to go outside at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But she's adorable and soft and loving. So she can be annoying, I guess, too. She's worthless. She's not worthless. A little bit. But anyway, love you all. And I'll talk to you guys soon. And I hope you guys have a great day. And happy Saturday. Woo! Boop, 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 boop.